A United States Job Introduction. This book helps you look for a job in the United States from places like employment services, free government, and fee, national job websites, recruiters, headhunters, career counselors, job websites for cities and states, local city and state job websites, local city professional organizations, recruiters, staffing services, and career counselors by state, recruiters by city, government and nonprofit organizations, newspapers, chambers of commerce, the biggest lists of company websites anywhere, government tourist websites for American towns. United States is not big on manufacturing anymore. It's big on developing new ideas and the computer/IT, information technologies. You have two ways to go when looking for a job in the United States. Find the boom places. Go there. Pick a boom field. Study it, get the skill, then either find the boom area for that skill or go where the jobs area. For some fields, jobs are everywhere, like the medical fields. The job market will get worse with automation and artificial intelligence. People say immigration is good. I say it was good at one time but not anymore. There are not enough jobs for the people in the United States who want them. It's that simple. Oil will disappear as soon as next energy source comes along. If you think green energy is the next big thing, watch Michael Moore's movie called Planet of the Humans, which reveals what a scam it is. This idea that mirrors in the desert or some other stupid idea will solve our energy needs. There may be a wireless home electricity device. At some point, all those oil, gas, and electricity jobs will be gone because a better technology will replace them. Right now, I think there are only enough jobs for about half the people. They lie like crazy with that stupid unemployment rate, which does not measure all the people out of work not collecting an unemployment check. Some guy said that by 2030, the tractor-trailer trucks will be automated. If that's true, that's a lot of jobs gone. Poverty and homelessness are hidden in our societies. Gary Null created a film called Poverty Incorporated about the truth of what's really going on. Either the powers that be will have to give everyone a guaranteed monthly check and an apartment, or the homeless, suicide, crime and substance abuse rates will continue to climb. A few things stay the same. Some jobs will always be there, like food, housing, water, sewage treatment, transportation, emergency medical care, government administration, electricity, plumbing, etc. Most people have to work to survive and pay bills, otherwise they will be homeless. There are jobs for any go-getter. There are emerging technologies and fields like genetics, nanotechnology, driverless cars, space travel, tunnel travel, anti-gravity travel, teleportation, and things I can't imagine yet. The ultimate certainty is that technology and automation will eliminate jobs. There will be jobs in these new fields, but lots of jobs will die. I foresee a day when planes and transport trucks will be operated like drones are now. Military, security and law enforcement are good careers in a police state type of world. People move to the boom areas. Right now Williston, North Dakota has an oil boom. Go where the boom is, or pick an emerging field like automation or nanotechnology. I heard that there are two sides to Vegas, the rich side and the poor side. When Vegas is losing money, it means that people don't have disposable income. The system stinks. I got my ideas about how to solve it, but I'm just providing hardcore practical information in this book. Unless you're rich, you have to always be practical. I don't understand the austerity and the desperation that seem to have permeated the world recently. I think it's a scam perpetrated by the so-called money masters. We live in a bountiful world. I've read biographies of Jacques Fresco, thevenusproject.com, and Woody Guthrie, who couldn't understand the Depression when they saw boarded-up businesses with people willing to work. What is stopping us from thriving? Every individual needs guts and initiative. Social media is good to a point, but the way to get a job with an online presence is to offer something useful. Somebody watching might offer you a job. If you start a blog, podcast, or YouTube channel for your field, some big shot might watch it, decide you're a worthy person and offer you a job. It's not like you create a Facebook page and people are going to come out of the woodwork offering you jobs. You have to offer something first. A lot of job hunting is still done the old-fashioned way at a local level. A boss still appreciates the initiative of someone who shows up physically looking for a job. Employers want to see people face to face to get a feel for them and look to see if they look healthy and motivated. This book has the most job websites for United States jobs than any other book or website. If that's not enough, go to number 331 at the library. It's about being smart. First, pick a field that's in demand without much competition. Do something you like. Move if you have to in order to find a decent job. Plumbing, food, and the medical industries will always be there. Technology will almost eliminate some professions. A lot of software and video games are made in India and Eastern Europe on contract for American companies. Even though a piece of software is supposedly created by an American company, it was really made in Hungary. Why should they pay you $25 an hour when they can pay a Hungarian guy $5 an hour? The website bls.gov/oko tries to pick the fields of the future. Nowadays you have to brand yourself online or fix up your online presence to present a professional, serious image because a lot of employers check potential employees out online. You could use social media to find a job. Most companies now want e-resumes only. The two hard and fast old school rules are that you have to pound the pavement, find employers in your local area and don't just send emails. Actually go there and ask for a job application, to speak to the boss, etc. If you're motivated, upbeat, confident, believe you have worthy skills and are relentless in your pursuit of a job in your field or any unskilled job, you'll find one because the unwritten rule of the work world is that every boss is always looking for a new good worker. If you show up every day knocking on doors looking for work, you'll get a job. You might not get one if you send out resumes and application forms on the internet and wait. People like people who show up, ask to meet the boss, then ask face to face if there are any jobs. They might be caught off guard, but they'll remember you when an opening comes up. The biggest thing in life for most people aside from personal relationships and health is to earn a living. This comes down to several things. 1. Education, skill. 2. Your ability to know where to look for the jobs. 3. Your ability to be nice around people. 4. Your ability to show up every day. 5. Your ability to do what you're told. 6. The brown nose factor, how to play job politics. 7. Your motivation and desperation for work. These are all huge areas. I cover them all somewhere through all these job super books. At the library, related books are at Jobs, number 331. College, Career Education, number 378. Looking for a job, Job Prep, hashtag 650.10-14 or HF5382-HF5384. Business Books, hashtag 650-659. Money, number 332. Companies, number 338. Go to bls.gov for lots of free career descriptions. Try publications.usa.gov for free practical knowledge. These are what I consider to be the best job websites out there. CareerHonestOp.org, Job-Hunt.org, TransitionsAbroad.com, World Jobs, Khake.com, Monster.com, lists jobs, no links to niche job boards or professional/trade organizations. Indeed.com, CareerBuilder.com, EmploymentSpot.com. In the end, what is life but a journey of an individual soul? You need money and a job, but if you ain't happy, so what? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Steve Jobs. An excerpt is from a speech frequently called The Man in the Arena, given by President Theodore Roosevelt in Paris in 1910, a year after he left office. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds old have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcomings, who knows the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the high achievement of triumph, and who at worst, if he fails while daring greatly, knows his place shall never be with those timid and cold souls who know neither victory or defeat. Another great one is the poem If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can walk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a man, my son. Rudyard Kipling. The 68 volumes are as follows. Volume 1. Career on Stop 1, the United States federal government's big job website, very good but convoluted. Volume 2. Career on Stop 2, the United States federal government's big job website, very good but convoluted. Volume 3. U.S. Government Job Information. Volume 4. A U.S. federal and state government job info guide by state. Volume 5. A United States Job Guide. Volume 6. A United States Job Website Guide 1. Volume 7. A United States Job Website Guide 2. Volume 8. A United States Job Website Guide 3. Volume 9. A United States Job Website Guide 4. Volume 10. A United States Job Website Guide 5. Volume 11. A United States Job Website Guide 6. Volume 12. A Job and Social Support Website Guide by U.S. State at careeronstop.org/x-offender/toolkit/find-state-resources.aspx. Volume 13. A U.S. Immigrant Job Website Guide. Volume 14. A list of local professional/trade associations by city from jobstars.com/local-professional-associations-organizations. Volume 15. A job event conference/career fair guide. Volume 16. A U.S. local job guide. Volume 17. U.S. regional and local job websites. Volume 18. A U.S. big city job website guide from career.opcd.wfu.edu/location-specific-resources. Volume 19. A U.S. job guide by state. Volume 20. U.S. job website guide by state and big city. Volume 21. A United States job guide for some states. Volume 22. A U.S. job website guide by state at careerprofiles.info, general, med, ed, and government jobs. Volume 23. Education and job websites by U.S. state. Volume 24. Job websites by state from dmozd-odp.org/regional/north_america/united_state/business_and_economy/employment. Volume 25. U.S. job website guide by state from careeronestop.org. Volume 26. A U.S. job website guide by state from servicelocator.org/statewebdirectory.asp. Volume 27. A U.S. job and health website guide by state from triagecancer.org/resources/state-resources. Volume 28. A recruiter headhunter staffing service guide. Volume 29. A specific recruiter website guide. Volume 30. A recruiter and job website guide from dmoz-odp.org/business/employment/recruitment_and_staffing. Volume 31. A staffing service website guide at dmoz-odp.org/business/employment/recruitment_and_staffing/staffing_services. Volume 32. A United States recruiter website guide by state. Volume 33. Employment agencies/staffing recruiting firms by U.S. city at jobstars.com/local-employment-agencies. Volume 34. A United States Chamber of Commerce guide. Volume 35. United States newspaper website guide by state. Volume 36. A New York City and state guide for tourists, locals, and job seekers. Volume 37. A Hawaii job, business, education, and life guide. Volume 38. A Nevada and Las Vegas guide with jobs and practical info. Volume 39. A California guide for tourists, locals, and job seekers. Volume 40. A Florida job and life guide for the Sunshine State. Volume 41. A Texas job and life guide, resources for the Lone Star State. Volume 42. A D.C. Maryland job and life guide for the DMV Beltway. Volume 43. A Massachusetts, Boston, job guide. Volume 44. A company corporation guide. Volume 45. Investigate and research companies and people. Volume 46. A company corporation list guide. Volume 47. Lists of companies by big U.S. city at jobstars.com/local-employers and jobstars.com/industry-employers. Volume 48. A company website guide 1. Volume 49. A company website guide 2. Volume 50. A company website guide 3. Volume 51. A list of several thousand company addresses and websites. Volume 52. A list of company websites, some with job and internship websites. Volume 53. A list of about 7,000 plus company websites worldwide, mostly United States. Volume 54. A company and a company website guide, mostly from NASDAQ. Volume 55. Nasdaq.com/market-activity/stocks/screener gives company names on that page, or download the spreadsheet. Volume 56. Some company websites by field from an old version of the Nasdaq website. Volume 57. A Forbes company list guide. Volume 58. A manufacturing company guide. Volume 59. A computer/tech company guide. Volume 60. An energy company guide. Volume 61. A U.S. company website guide by state. Volume 62. A U.S. business company website guide by region and state at dmoz-odp.org/regional/north_america/united_states/business_and_economy. Volume 63. Lists of 100 companies in every U.S. state at zipia.com. Near the bottom of the page, click a state. Volume 64. Lists of 100 companies by field from zipia.com/company. Volume 65. Lists of companies by field. Volume 66. A local business website guide to use in the job search. Volume 67. A list of companies and their fields at inc.com/inc5000, no websites. Volume 68. A U.S. state and local tourist guide.